Night Patrol 2, Awakening, Chapter 4. Delayed Departure Due to Sisterly Promises by Foxgear. Read by Senior Sergeant Icy Knight. Octavia Melody, an earth pony and renowned celloist, known far and wide throughout Equestria for her skills and talent, a reputation she was bound and determined to keep, as she thought of the embarrassing night that had been her grand galloping gala performance. She fears all her hard work would be for naught after that night. Luckily, before any pony could begin to question her skills, after that dreadful pink pony made her play the pony polka, an envoy from the palace arrived with a letter that could just save her career. The princesses, both Celestia and the newly returned Princess Luna, are to attend the next concert? What luck on her part! Alas, all good news comes with bad. Her bandmates, ponies she had thought she could count on through thick and thin, have deserted her after mutters of her career possibly being over. Many of her sponsors didn't want to associate with her because of what happened at the gala, as if she had been the one to incite all the chaos. Noble logic at its best. Nonetheless, she now found herself in a solo act with the two most influential ponies in all of the land to attend. Her nerves were at their wits' ends as she checked over her beloved cello, a gift from her sister, for any defects in sound, a task usually left to the tuner after she had begun to make it big, and the skill she was out of practice in. There was no pony better than perfect pitch when it came to tuning instruments. She wishes more than ever he was here. No matter what she tries, she could not seem to get her cello in tune. With no other ponies playing with her, any mistake or out-of-tune sound would be heard loud and clear. She had to get it just right. A knock at the door broke Octavia's concentration. She grumbles under her breath at the disturbance. Nonetheless, she put on a smile. One must never be rude when answering the door, her mother always told her. You never knew who could be on the other side. Who is it? There was no answer. A normal pony would think this was the work of a prankster. But Octavia knew better. She opened the door, her smile becoming genuine at the sight of her blue-haired unicorn sister, DJ Pawn 3, or as their parents named her, Vinyl Scratch Melody. Vinyl, you came! Vinyl nods her head while keeping in beat with whatever tune was playing in her headphones. The white unicorn producing a box of Octavia's favorite chocolates and embracing her sister, mindful not to mess up Octavia's hair or makeup. For me? Oh, Vinyl, thank you. They're such a wonderful gift. Octavia places the chocolates on the table beneath the vanity mirror and opens the box. Inside was her favorite candy, peanut butter and caramel chocolates made all the way back in their hometown of Ponyville. She removes two of the tasty treats and hands one to Vinyl. One before the show for luck, and one after celebration or heartbreak. Mom's old motto, remember? Why do you think I brought them? I knew you'd be nervous playing in front of the princesses alone. Vinyl broke out into a violent coughing fit that seemed without end. Quickly, Vinyl reaches into Vinyl's saddlebag and produces a needle and stuck it in the unicorn's neck. Pushing the plunger, Octavia released the medicine inside. The coughing stopped instantly. Vinyl, you just finished having surgery on your throat. You know you can't speak until you're fully recovered, chimes Octavia. Vinyl mouths a silent sorry as she held her throat. I know. You just wanted to encourage me, and I appreciate it, but you need to think of your health. Vinyl paused at the floor with a sullen face as she mouthed words that only Octavia could understand. The gray earth pony's ears flop down against her head as she interrupts her sister's speech. I'll come home soon, I promise. I just need to stay here a little bit longer to get the money needed to pay the medical bills. Vinyl mouths some more words. Yes, I know it would have been cheaper to go to the hospital in Ponyville, but they have better doctors here in Canterlot. Sure, it was more expensive, but you were able to see the best throat doctors in all of Equestria. And that's what counts. I would do anything to hear your voice again all the time, even if it means playing in this dreadful city for a few more months. Final sighs. Her sister didn't get it. She just wants her home. It was lonely coming home alone, and she knew Octavia felt the same. She was just too stubborn to admit it. With nothing else to say, Vinyl mouths, good luck, and left Octavia to her tuning, only to stop when she heard Octavia play a few chords. Turning around, Vinyl grabs the cello from her sister, who fumes at her. Vinyl, I appreciate the visit, but there is very little time and Octavia's words died in her throat as Vinyl began to tune her cello to near perfection. Once her DJ sister seemed satisfied with the sound, she hands it back via magic and left to take her seat. Wait, Vinyl. Since when do you know how to tune a cello? The unicorn stops at the door, turns around, then smiles, winks at her sister, and continues on her way. Vinyl wishing she had a camera for the look on Octavia's face. It was priceless. I suppose that can wait till later then, Octavia muses as she heard her cue to go on stage. She really hopes the princess liked her performance. She needs to keep her fame just a little while longer to get the money she needs. This event seems empty, Spitfire states as she sat red-faced, tugging at the dress she was forced to wear. Why did she need to wear a dress? Sure, she was invited by Luna to come to the concert, but why did the royal dresser guide force her into one of these furry things? Also, why was it pink? I'm certain this is the night of the concert. Is it not, Timekeeper? Celestia asked the royal scheduler. Timekeeper, nose in the air, checks his watch. Indeed it is, Your Majesty. The show is set to start in less than 2 minutes. Shall I count down the remaining time allowed? No, that will not be necessary. Celestia turns her attention to her sister. When you said you were bringing a guest, I had hoped you might have a cult friend. But mare friend is okay too, I guess. Luna rolled her eyes. Your teasing is of need of upgrading, dear sister. Now tell us, who are we about to watch upon the stage? You have kept very tight-lipped about the performer's identity since bringing up this concert. Surely there is no need to keep it a secret even now, is there? Be patient, Luna. You already waited a week. Why ruin the surprise? Your flight to Nippon is not until tomorrow anyways. Luna crosses her forelegs in a huff. I suppose. I hope the military airships are better than the civilian ones I have seen. I know we live in an age of peace, but I have no arraignment on any vessel is truly foolish. How do you fend off air pirates? A team of flyers usually accompanies a military ship for security, while most civilian ships hire their own private security force from some merchant guilds or any pony willing to take the job. Spitfire answers in a bored tone. There really isn't much for pirate activity, at least in the air. By sea, you'll still find a good number of pirate ships sailing around. Spitfire felt a chill down her spine and looks to see Princess Celestia giving her a stern glare. Seemed she wasn't supposed to tell Luna about the pirate problem in the Saddle Arabian Sea. Oh look, the show is starting, Spitfire announces as the curtains rose, taking the attention of both sisters off her. She really didn't like sitting between these two. Thankfully for Spitfire, Luna seems fine with letting the matter go as her attention turns towards the stage. Finally laying eyes on the pony Celestia wanted her to meet so badly. The Princess of the Night gasped at the sight of the lone, gray mare holding a cello on the stage. Alto? No, her descendant, Luna remarks, taking note of the mare's lack of a crystal coat and the different yet musical themed mark upon her flank. A feeling of overwhelming joy spread throughout her chest as she watches the gray-toned mare get into position. What's her name? Celestia felt overjoyed by her sister's reaction. She knew Luna would be interested once she saw Octavia. Her name is Octavia Melody, Alto's direct descendant. I've kept watch on her family over the years. Her parents left the city before she was born to a smaller town, I believe. She has a sister. Oh, there she is, the white unicorn in the front row. Can't quite remember her name, I'm afraid. You mean the only pony here besides us? Luna asked, looking down at the seats below. Why were there no other ponies here? Did you buy all the tickets for the show? The Sun Princess shook her head. Of course not. I wonder what's going on. I know she's very talented and has gained much fame since she began her career. It is strange. No other ponies came to see her. I think, Spitfire spoke up while pointing down at the stage. The empty seats might be getting to her. Down on stage, Octavia stood with her bow down by her side, with wet hot tears falling from her face. She's been expecting a low turnout due to recent events, but this was inconceivable. It was downright soul-shattering to the point she hadn't even noticed the royal guest sitting high on the second floor. She just broke down. Luna, not one to sit idly by when a pony was in distress, jumped from the seat and took flight, gliding down to the main floor of the theater, Celestia and Spitfire not far behind her. She trotted straight towards the crying mare, passing by Vinyl, who had been on her way to comfort Octavia, with her own tears seeping out from behind her shades. The white unicorn came to a halt, awestruck as Luna passed by, walked onto the stage, and lay a hoof on her crying sister. What is wrong? Octavia wipes at her tears with her foreleg, thinking Vinyl was the one who came to comfort her. Her ears were hurting from the stress, so she couldn't tell the difference between voices. I told you can't talk yet. You're still recovering, Octavia chimed, as she tries to compose herself. And can't you see what's wrong? Her eyes still worked last I checked. Look around. No pony came. Not even the princesses. I'm a failure. My reputation was ruined thanks to that pink pony at the gala. Now I won't be able to play for the rest. I won't be able to pay for the rest of your treatments. And on top of that, I got a runny nose from crying. And it's all over my leg and... Are you laughing, Vinyl? I assure you this is no laughing matter. Octavia's vision finally cleared and immediately wished a piano would fall on her. You're not Vinyl, she said slowly as her brain tried to do a quick reboot, realizing she had just been yelling at Princess Luna, with snot running down her face. Indeed, I am not, Luna grins as she levitates over some Kleenexes and began to clean Octavia's muzzle like a mother would a child. Octavia's face lit up brighter than heartwarming Eve decorations. I apologize for laughing, though. You seem to be having a bit of a rough time. Forgive me if I seemed like I found your troubles humorous. I do not, I assure you. But, well, you remind me of an old friend who was once in a similar situation, and I found the parallel rather ironic. I see, Octavia said as she peeks her head around Luna's body, only to hide it again when she caught sight of Celestia and Spitfire standing behind her. I should be the one apologizing. You came to see my show, but I was overwhelmed by the lack of audience. I went into shock, and it was just very unprofessional. I can't imagine you would still want to see me play after this. Quite the contrary. Actually, I would love to hear you perform. Once you are ready to, of course. What say you, sister? Spitfire? Shall we wait? Fine by me, Spitfire shrugs. Show's been more interesting than any other I've been dragged to before. Seems like a good time to get some snacks too. And perhaps some better seats, Celestia said, smiling. Mind if we join you down here, Miss Vinyl? The view is much better, as is the sound. Vinyl nods as she trots over and helps Octavia to her hooves. Actually, Octavia said, getting every pony's attention, if you don't mind waiting a little longer, I would like to turn this solo into a duet. I promise it will be worth the wait. Sounds exciting. We will be waiting, said Luna, following Celestia to the concessions. Once they were gone, Octavia turns and embraces her sister. You know what to do, right? Vinyl nods, grinning as she gave a hoof bump and mouthing a long list of words. I couldn't agree more. This will be awesome. The two sisters quickly set to work. Calling on the stage hooves for help, they brought in Vinyl's large speakers and a turntable in record time. Why her sister had all her musical equipment mounted onto a cart, Octavia didn't know or care. This would probably be her last show. She might as well go out with a loud bang with her uncouth sister beside her. The princesses and Captain Spitfire returned from their snack adventure, clearly in awe of the new setup on stage. They took their seats in front and wait. I apologize for the delay, Your Majesties. I fear my sister and I will only have time for one song, but it is one we have created together. This will be the first show we ever performed in Canterlot together, and most likely the last. But I'm proud to sing this song that was written with the help of my dear sister. She nods to Vinyl, who nods back, and she plops on her headphones. The sound of the music machines buzz as Octavia raised her bow. This was it. Her and Vinyl's creation. She just wished Vinyl was the one singing. Octavia starts to hum as soft piano music plays from Vinyl's machines. The song grew, gaining power as more instruments joined in, and as the growing roar of sound grew to even higher heights, Octavia began to play her cello, and then she began to sing, the music growing with a power as their marks began to glow, creating a visual spectacle that depicted their lives growing up. The images show their youth, their fights, and their reunions. As the song drew to an end, the image of Vinyl being attacked appeared, and Octavia rushing to her side. The song ended with the light image of Octavia staying by her sister's side, fading away. The two sisters exchanged tearful smiles as their meager yet the cystic audience jumped to their hooves and gave a thunderous applause. Thank you, Your Majesties and Captain Spitfire. You are too kind. Octavia bowed. Vinyl ran up and caught her in a flying hug, bringing the gray mare to the floor. Vinyl, must you be so silly? I've been embarrassed enough this night already. Vinyl just snickered silently at her sister as she got off. Octavia rode on her side, springing to her hooves in a practiced motion that said she did this often. Once she's cleaned the dust off her coat, she was curious to find the princess having a soft conversation, each one wearing a big grin of excitement. She wondered what they were talking about. She didn't wait long as Luna came bounding up to her, grabbing both her and Vinyl around the neck with her forelegs. We have decided, we as in my sister and I, not the royal we as in I, have decided to invite you to supper tonight with us. After a fantastic performance, I'm certain you are well famished. We appreciate the offer, but Octavia and Vinyl's stomach did a duet of their own, in loud growls of hunger. We will accept it, it seems. Both Octavia and Vinyl blushed red, holding their stomachs. Fantastic! Come, we will escort you, Luna said, ushering the two down the center alley towards the exit. Celestia and Spitfire followed, enjoying the sight of Luna being so happy. The group of five broke out onto the streets with collective amounts of gasp and chatter in their wake. Many of the citizens of Canterlot, despite living in Canterlot, never thought they would see the princess just walking down the street with no royal guards escorting them nonetheless. Is Captain Spitfire their guard? One noble mare questioned another. She can't be. Look, she's wearing a dress. I've never seen her in such a thing, not even during the gala. Another noble stallion pointed towards the two musicians. Look, is that not Octavia Melody and DJ Pawn 3? What are they doing with the princesses? Indeed, the first noble mare scoffed. After the gala, I would have thought she would have left the city by now. Wait, how do you know that unicorn is DJ Pawn 3? The noble stallion looked back with frantic eyes. How do you know who she is? They both turned away, pretending to have never spoken, leaving the third baffled and confused. The restaurant La Houff was their destination. Naturally, the princess had a standing reservation as the establishment was one of Celestia's favorites. In order not to disturb the other customers, a private session was set aside for the royal guest, allowing her to dine in peace and not to have to remove any guests from their table. Extra chairs were required for the royal entourage. Menus were distributed, and the privacy curtain was closed, allowing the five mares to talk amongst themselves in peace. I'm curious, dear Octavia, how is it that your sister, who is also very musically gifted, ended up with the stage name of DJ Pollen 3? Also, why is it she's not able to speak? Was she born mute? Octavia set down her tea and sighed. That is rather long, funny, yet disturbing story. I suppose I could just as well start in order. Starting with the fact Vinyl's real name is Vinyl Melody, not Scratch. She changed it to Scratch when we decided on creative differences to go our own separate ways in our musical careers. I had gotten my first big gig before her, and in a foolish yet sweet gesture changed her name so that the press couldn't link us together. Canterlot High Society was not very inclined with the rising dance club music genre. Vinyl lightly hit Octavia, speaking a lengthy silent sentence to her sister. Sorry, dubstep or pop, rock, or whatever you call it. Sheesh. Moving on, Vinyl gets a gig at a club, and to further separate herself from me, she took on the much more ridiculous name of DJ Pond 3. Needless to say, it was a very effective idea. Setting down her drink, Luna said, I see. I find myself embarrassed to admit I had thought DJ Pond 3 was your real name. I had feared things have changed beyond my comprehension. On the other hand, though, I suppose having a number is in a name should not be so foreign to me. One of my best friends was named Sixes after all. Octavia chewed her cheek as she mulled the name over in her head. Sixes. I feel like I heard that name before, but I don't know where. What about you, Vinyl? Anything come to mind? The white unicorn shrugged and pointed to her neck. Oh, right, sorry. On the topic of Vinyl's muteness, though I fear it is a far less humorful tale. If it is too hard to speak of, you need not tell it, Luna said, sensing the change in mood. She peered closer at the spot on Vinyl's neck the white unicorn had pointed to and found a discoloring in her coat in the shape of a long, thin line. She knew what that meant. Well, Vinyl doesn't seem to mind. It was only a few months ago, really. Vinyl started to really gain popularity, which was good. I've always worried when she would perform at those seedy venues. Unfortunately, some crazy fan didn't seem to like that Vinyl was moving up to better things. He waited outside the rear exit and attacked her, slashing her throat with a knife. Luckily, the wound wasn't deep, and some of the club workers were able to get her to a doctor. But the surgery was messy. Vinyl vocal cords were extremely damaged, and Octavia began to tear up, remembering just standing there useless as her sister lay on the operating table, her white coat stained with blood. A gentle hoof rubbed her back, and she turned to see Vinyl smiling and mouthing, "It's okay." Smiling back, Octavia composed herself, coughing in her hoof as the others diverted their gaze. "Yes, well, let's just leave it at that." "Sounds good to me," Spitfire said soberly. "I think I need a drink after that. Any point you want to join me?" Octavia nodded. I think I shall, and so will Vinyl. As will I, said Luna, her anger boiling beneath the surface. That pony better be in the deepest pits, and if he wasn't, she would ensure he was. The food arrived with their drinks, and for several minutes only the sound of chewing was the only sound being made. The mood for talking, sullied by the dire story of Vinyl's attack and their hunger. During the course, enjoying her potato, onion, and carrot soup, Octavia asked a question. "Pardon me, princesses," Octavia said, setting aside her empty plate. "While I'm thankful for you attending my show, I must admit something has been bothering me." Celestia wiped the cheese from her cheesy broccoli from her muzzle, giving Octavia her full attention. "What is that?" "Well, it's just no pony else came to my show." "But you did. Not only that, you even waited longer than normal for it to start and saw my embarrassing scene. I know you have always been kind, Princess Celestia, and you two seem very kind as well, Princess Luna. I can't help but find it weird you would treat me so nicely. Again, not to say your majesties are unkind. I'm a mayor from a small town, trying to make it in the big city. Why are you giving me so much attention?" Celestia tapped her chin. "I suppose I can see why you would be so confused. Very well, I will be frank. I wanted my sister to meet you." Octavia recoiled at the statement in surprise, her eyes wide with shock. "Me? But why? I'm no pony special." "Alto, Melody," Luna answered, looking nostalgically at Octavia. She was almost a carbon copy of Alto, minus not being a crystal pony. She was a dear friend to us 1,000 years ago, and your ancestor. My sister believed it would help me adjust to the new era by meeting you, thinking perhaps your resemblance to your ancestor would offer me a bit of familiarity. Luna looked sharply at her sister, who smiled sheepishly back. At least that's what I assumed her plan was. Nonetheless, it was nice to see a familiar face again. I hope we can become friends, Octavia. You as well, Vinyl. You two are an interesting pair of ponies. You remind me a lot of me and Celestia, actually. Octavia picked at her meal. A tidal wave of emotions rushing through her. Here she had thought she was beginning to think she was some pony special, like Twilight Sparkle and the like. Not that she really wanted to be like the princess's student. But, well, she wasn't sure what to think. She just happens to look like a pony they knew. Then Luna's last sentence registered finally. We remind you of you? I find that unlikely, no offense, but I can't really see the similarities. Giggling, Luna took a moment to regain her composure by taking a drink of cider before answering Octavia. Sorry, but without knowing Celestia's and I's personal history, I suppose you probably can't see the similarities. Just looking at you two, I see a lot of us in you, such as your coat colors are opposite, yours being gray and Vinyl's being white, such as mine is black and Celestia's white. You two are both talented musicians, yet practice different styles. Again, similar how Celestia controls the sun, and I control the moon. And finally, you are like me, Octavia. We are both serious, while Vinyl and Celestia are playful. I guess I never thought of it like that, admitted Octavia. She was beginning to see what the princess was talking about. Luna nodded, a smile playing on her lips as she played with her glass of cider. All it takes is a different perspective and some insight, and you'll begin to see things in a different way. I digress. We have asked questions of you in your past. Is there anything you wish to know about us? Anything she wanted to know? How many ponies had a chance like this? Still, was there anything she really wanted to know? She wasn't an historian. Not that history didn't interest her, it's just wouldn't it really affect her very much. Would she ask what kind of music they like? No, that would be a waste. They seemed like they liked just about any music. They were 1,000 years old. Did she dare ask about what happened to Luna? No, that seemed too personal. Perhaps. Can you tell us about Alto? It would be interesting to hear about the pony that started our family. We have a few records of her, but nothing much in detail. Very well, Luna replied, thinking back. Let's see. I didn't know her for long, only a few years before I was sealed. But I guess a good place to start would be the fact Alto originally came from the Crystal Empire and was a pony of high status there. I don't know how much, but she was high enough nobility that she attended a dinner during my final visit there before the Empire was destroyed. Wait, interrupted Octavia. We, as in Vinyl and me, are descendants of some foreign noble? Yes, Luna confirmed. And not only that, but a crystal pony. Though it seems your family has suppressed the crystal code genes through the years. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could activate a crystal form. Not that it would really change anything, you would just be see-through and shiny. Alto did have a talent for creating light shows like you did earlier. Octavia looked perplexed. Light show? I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. Vinyl, did you do something with your magic? The white unicorn shook her head, equally confused. A knowing smile spread across Luna's lips. I see. Seems you activated the spell unknowingly. I imagine with some practice you could learn to do it at will, which would certainly be a great boon to your shows. I could see it becoming the greatest show in Equestria. I think I would like to return home to Ponyville before doing any more shows. There are some things that Vinyl and I need to address before we can think about starting our music careers again. Vinyl's medical bills, I assume. The grey mare nodded, a deep sigh escaping her lips as she calculated the amount of money left to repay. It wasn't a great amount, but it was a bit overwhelming with the income from her shows gone. Vinyl did her best to chip in, but DJs in small towns don't get paid a lot or very often. Even being a popular DJ in Canterlot didn't really equal big bits. There were a lot of DJs and only so many high-paying gigs. Things certainly would be tough for a while. What if I paid them? Luna offered, surprising the Melody sisters. We couldn't ask you of that. You're not. I'm offering. If you don't want to, I understand. Not many ponies like to take charity. I would urge you to take it. Though, money is not a large concern for beings as old as Celestia and me. Assuming our mountain of treasure is still safe and plentiful after 1,000 years. Celestia softly laughed at Luna's accusing glare. As if I could spend that much even in 1,000 years. I did take a few million bits here and there, and little for cake, but rest assured, sister, your share is left untouched. Get it here, replied Luna, thankful Celestia hadn't used her gold. Yes, money did matter a bit for her, but not because she was greedy. She worked hard to get that gold. Beating Dragonlord Torch in a gladiator match was not easy. She would hate to have to fight him for his gold again. If he was still alive, that is. Now, here is my offer. 500,000 bits. For you to use however you please. Think of it as me buying all the empty seats for tonight's show, if you must. 500,000 bits? That would be more than enough to cover Vinyl's medical costs, the fee for using the theater, and finishing paying off her apartment. It would all be gone by the time she was done with all that. But she would be debt-free. Could she really afford not to take it? What if this was a test by the princess? You said they wanted to be friends. This could be a way to weed out those only in it for fame and money. What was the right decision? It's not a test, Spitfire said suddenly, gaining the attention of every pony. Luna is not a pony to buy friendship. I've only spent the last few months as her friend. But I can safely say she wouldn't offer to help you and then demand repayment or anything. She just wants to help you. Whether you become friends or not is up to you, but refusing a gift is rude regardless of what you think or feel about it. So just take the money, pay your bills, and move on. Octavia turned towards Spitfire, and then back to Luna, then to Celestia, and finally to Vinyl, who nodded. Alright, I will accept your generous offer. The supper finished, all small talk exhausted, as well as their bodies. The princesses and Spitfire waved goodbye to the Melody sisters. Luna, especially enthusiastic, yelling out she hoped to see them again soon. The trio took flight into the night, bound for the castle. Spitfire breaking off to go to sleep in the Wonderbolt's barracks. Luna and Celestia flew between the two towers that held their rooms and floated there. That was very kind of you, Luna. Very like you, though it did seem to make Octavia very nervous. Luna agreed sourly. Yes. I had not meant to cause such distress for her. I had not thought about how she might think of the gesture. I forget these ponies of today do not know me. They only know the title. Celestia nodded. Yes, at times it seems that all any pony sees. At times I wonder if that's what my beloved student only sees sometimes. Nonetheless, I believe Octavia and Vinyl will come around much sooner than later. I hope so. Luna let out a long drawn-out yawn, earning a laugh from her sister. Yes, I'm tired. I will be retiring for the night. I have an airship to catch in the morning. The Princess of the Night flew away, leaving the Princess of the Sun alone in midair. She looked far below, down into the castle gardens. Her gaze fell on the statue of their old enemy, Discord. The magic surrounding the statue was growing. He would be free soon. She should tell Luna. Her sister would want to know about the coming escape of her enemy. But Celestia herself didn't want her sister to have to face the Lord of Chaos in her weakened state, or ever again. Besides, it's not our duty to defeat him this time, stated Celestia. The elements had told her this day would come. Another day she would be forced to sit aside and let another fulfill the role she was willing to take, but was no longer allowed to. If we did not need you, I would fulfill my promise to destroy you, she muttered, flying to her room. Her head fell against her pillow with unease as she sealed her mind away from Luna's dream magic. She didn't want her sister stumbling on her dark thoughts.